Hello, everyone. If you're watching this, it is currently 20 days to release Pokemon Legends Arceus. I am getting more and more excited given how, even though it hasn't been a whole lot of new details as, as this month as of yet, what there has been is a bunch of a bevy of new footage both in Japan and the US and even in feeds coming from the Netherlands or places where which show off a lot of new footage of your time in the Hisui region, forming the very first Pokédex, and also, maybe even something more, forging the bond between Pokemon and their human partners. Because it's still at a time when and they weren't partners. In fact, many still saw them as threats, and that's probably a mission I would change that. I really like that detail, and also how this is all going to play playing out, and definitely made a lot of good progress has in terms of visuals, holes, and gameplay. It seems like only last February they actually formally announced this title. Wait, it was. I am definitely gonna keep out running guy fellas. Yeah. I'm still doing my best to learn the characters, their names, aims. I will continue to do so as I often do, and but it is easy to tell for me that they're ancestors of the ones that we meet later on, and in especially one I'm liking a lot, as you can see the thumbnail, is Mai, who is Marley's ancestor to a point where she actually uses her Japanese name. I don't know about people claiming to go like another like M Bison Balrog situation where it's pretty well documented that because that they were fearing legal trouble, so they switched the name. So, Bison in the States is the name of the head of the Shadowloo organization, and Balrog could be was the name of the not quite Mike Tyson boxer. But at the very least, it's like another situation like with Robotnik and Eggman. Like apparently, Eggman was a can name in Japan and was hinted at in the States. It's just depending on the gameplay, might as well say the egg-shaped body type. But Robotnik was the English name for a while. But when Eggman eventually became the canon name of Sonic Adventure, here's English release. I'm all okay. Likewise, apparently, like even though Peach has been Peach in Japan ever since the beginning, and she was known as Toadstool for the longest time for legal reasons, to a point where even like the weird 93 movie focused on secondary Princess Daisy instead, which is kind of weird. But then the Peach was officially canonized Mario 64, or when Toadstool sort of face after for that, more like, okay. So, whatever you choose to call them, I'm really looking forward to them. I'm also really liking how even she resembles her descendant quite a bit, both in looks and personality, as well as like the Munchlax partner she's got. I'm very much looking forward to seeing more of the Diamond and Pearl clan and testing out some of these new mechanics. I really don't get the Monster Hunter comparisons at all. I want to keep emphasizing I am not a huge Monster Hunter fan. I'm just really glad that the dumpster fire of a movie did not affect Rise's sales at all. It helps that the games are each kind, even though they're in the same actual universe, it helps that not counting like the stories games, they're each their own self-contained narrative. Like how it's like you don't necessarily have to have played every single Mario game ever made to enjoy Odyssey, or every single Zelda game ever made to enjoy Breath of the Wild. It helps, but I think you should be able to enter the world on its own terms, and if you include something, it can be a something for fans to enjoy, while newcomers might say, "Hey, that looks neat. I might like to check that out sometime." And like how I'm still drafting my Eternal spoiler review, but even though I wasn't as familiar with the characters as other people, I did at least check out enough of the Jack Kirby and the Neil Gaiman runs to understand and their basic idea. Though I accepted that these characters and how they operated were basically unique to this version series. I mean, yeah. As for the concerns being faced, I usually don't give those much mind. However, I do think that my personal ones tend to not be a bit simpler. I mean, remember things such as how will this run on my console, which is still within. I got it within the first year here after launch, like in 2018, as well as how will it play, because it's clear it's going to be something of a different beast from the previous installments. I mean, it definitely has like a unique approach to the gameplay in the same way that Generations 5 and 7 did. And on top of that, the biggest one that myself and others are saying is, will this experiment work? I'd like to think so. I mean, because I've been around nearly 3 full decades, and even growing up in a time when the console wars, like when Sega and Nintendo really at each other's throats, and more Sony into the fray. Hey, I'm one of those people that may have an idea, yeah, of what I might experience, but once I usually try to reserve actual judgment until the title actually comes out and I actually have a chance to play it. I mean, there are deal breakers that are way more intensive than just as changes to monster roster mechanics and a bit more worrisome ones. I mean, personally, Babylon's Fall lost a lot of hype the moment it announced it's going to be a live service, and I personally am not really on board with the idea to stick NFTs in the games where they're not wanted or needed. I mean, I'm actually kind of thankful that even with all the ballyhoo Ubisoft's going through, that initiative bombed. I mean, that they reportedly printed over 2,000 of those, only about a couple dozen bought them, which is an abysmal rate of return no matter how I try and spin it. That's mean. And on top of this, I am glad that the devs are being honest about how the experience is, which is actually kind of things I like about how the creative process goes. I mean, I acknowledge that grass is not really something to really get too huffy about. Like I've often seen that mocked as a joke, like how, hey, they use the same texture of the clouds as did for the bushes. There's a Mario Brothers, man. And also in regards to how Age of Calamity, like Omega Force, didn't approach the same way to Breath of the Wild, which makes sense given how you really need to treat each game and as their own dev cycle, and it's pretty basic. It shouldn't have to be said, but sometimes it needs to be. Hey, I feel no need to personally, go after developers for stuff like this. And I don't know about being quote unquote archaic. It's not a concern of anything's not changing. It's more, in my view, a concern of not acknowledging the change that actually is has made sense. I also, well, given how the response to my videos on Generation 8 was pretty decent, I am definitely contemplating how I might approach like a review of BDSP. But I'm gonna give it more breathing room from like I did with Generation 8. 6 months is usually enough time for the dust to settle in my experience, man, fairly speaking. And on that note, I'm getting really far to beat the main story so I can work on filling the blank spots in Pokedex. Hex, I mean, it'll probably be a bit easier once it's like Pokemon Home support goes live. But I'll definitely be factoring all this in, and my last countdown video will be in another 10 days. And I have another video that's somewhat related to what I've been talking about today. Hey, hey, very soon. So that'll be all for now. Take care, everyone.